Okay, here's a thought to kick us off. What if the toughest challenges we face, I mean, not just personally, but even, in big business, aren't about tech or strategy? What if they're really about, well, human connection?
Hmm.
That's the core idea we're diving into today, and it comes from a fascinating source, the friendship factor.
Right.
And what's really surprising is where it gained traction. Not just with everyday people, but it actually hooked executives at huge companies. Think IBM, Metropolitan Life.
Yeah, that part's amazing.
Because they realized that just dealing with people, those human interactions, that was their single biggest hurdle.
Their single most difficult challenge, as
Yeah.
the book puts it. It really makes you stop and think.
Exactly. So in this deep dive, we're exploring this friendship factor. What is that? That quality that just draws people in, and more importantly, the idea that it's not just something you're born with, it's learnable. You can actually cultivate it. Our mission here is to unpack the secrets, really, the practical ways to deepen and sustain all kinds of relationships. Romantic, work, family, everything. We're pulling from research, therapy insights, and just timeless wisdom in the source material.
And it's crucial to understand, friendship isn't just, a nice add-on. The author frames it as the springboard to every other love.
Springboard, I like that.
Yeah. And the research, the clinical work, it backs this up. People without strong friendships often struggle to sustain any kind of love. It impacts marriage, family life, even career success. It totally flips that stereotype of the, super successful exec with no personal life.
Right, the lonely person at the top.
Exactly. The book argues quite strongly, actually, that good relationships are fundamental. They're the foundation for success everywhere.
Okay, let's really get into that foundation then. The first big principle seems simple, but maybe it isn't in practice. Assign top priority to your relationships.
Sounds easy, right?
Yeah, but think about how we usually measure success money, career climbs. This really pushes back on that. The book uses Howard Hughes as an example, one of the richest men ever.
Unbelievably wealthy.
But his life ended up, well, the description is sunless, joyless, half lunatic. Why? Because he put money and other things way ahead of building friendships.
That isolation, it's a chilling picture.
It really is. It reminds me of that Emerson quote, something like, "Who provides wisely that he shall not be wanting the best property of all friends." Hits home, doesn't it?
It does. It frames friendship as true wealth.
Now, I know what some people might be thinking. Okay, but relationships can hurt. Divorce happens, friends move, there's loss. That fear is real.
Of course. There's vulnerability involved.
But Helen Keller had such a powerful take on this. She talked about losing friends, feeling like a part of her was buried.
Mm-hmm.
But she also said their contribution, the happiness, the strength, the understanding that remains, it sustains you even when things change. It's about the lasting impact.
That's beautifully put. And the science, interestingly, really supports this focus on relationships. There was this incredible Harvard study, ran for decades, following hundreds of men from college into old age.
Right, the Grant study, wasn't it?
That's the one. And what blows my mind is what they found, or rather, what they didn't find. School performance. Almost no link to job competence later on.
Really? That's counterintuitive.
Totally. But here's the kicker. The study director, Dr. Vian, he found it was the men with the best marriages and the richest friendships who ended up becoming company presidents.
Wow. So good relationships actually helped their careers, not hindered them.
Exactly. It suggests strong connections actually fuel success. They don't detract from it.
So putting this all together, it basically shatters that whole myth that love and connection just happen, like magic.
Right. It's not passive.
No. The source is clear. Relationships, like anything valuable, need you to recognize their importance and then put in the effort. You have to cultivate them intentionally.
Like tending a garden.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we accept that, let's move into some concrete strategies. Starting with the inner work. First step, cultivate transparency, the art of self-disclosure.
Transparency.
Yeah, the idea that people with deep friendships, they don't have that heavy facade. There's an openness. Think about Betty Ford when she was First Lady. Her honesty about personal struggles, later about addiction, it was remarkable.
It really was. And people responded to that vulnerability.
Absolutely. It drew people in, made her relatable, human.
So why do we hide then, if transparency is so powerful?
Good question. Well, partly culture, right? The cool hero like James Bond, stoic, unemotional. We think that projects strength.
But it doesn't really build intimacy, does it?
Not usually. And maybe deeper down there's that fear of rejection, that little voice saying, if they really knew me, they wouldn't like me.
The imposter syndrome applied to our whole selves.
Kind of, yeah. But here's the paradox the book highlights. Self-disclosure, especially showing vulnerability, it actually pulls people closer. It's counterintuitive, but true.
It creates connection.
Definitely. There's that story about Marian Anderson, the opera singer. Incredible career, Carnegie Hall, all of it.
A legend.
But when asked her greatest moment, it wasn't a performance. It was telling her mom she didn't have to take in washing anymore.
Wow.
Sharing that humble origin, that deep personal victory. That's what connected with people on a human level, way beyond the applause.
And it's amazing how much hiding happens even in, say, long-term marriages. The book mentions couples avoiding real talk about sex for decades.
Using euphemisms instead of just talking.
Right. Or Joel's story, his wife was about to leave because he was so walled off. Turns out he was hiding deep insecurities.
And when he finally started sharing those,
It changed everything. She could understand him, feel compassion again. It saved their marriage.
it connects to Carl Jung's idea of the shadow self, doesn't it? Those hidden parts we're ashamed of.
Exactly. The memories, the impulses we push down.
But when we dare to even peek at them, maybe share a little. The book says others are often way more forgiving than we are of ourselves.
That curious kind of chemistry starts.
Yeah. It leads to self-understanding, too.
The author mentions his friendship with Marcus Svensson. Older guy, different background, but he felt completely safe with him. Svensson accepted him, even when he was angry. It's that George Eliot quote, "The inexpressible comfort of feeling safe with a person."
That feeling of safety is huge.
And Paul Tournier, the psychotherapist, his secret was just accepting people. Radical acceptance. That's incredibly healing.
It's a powerful model. The source even points to Jesus as being remarkably transparent, not like some distant guru,
Living right among his disciples.
and telling them essentially, I call you friends because I've shared everything with you. That sharing marks the shift.
But there's a really important caution here.
Okay.
Full disclosure isn't always wise or safe immediately. You have a right to privacy, to choose when and what to share. And crucially, be careful about revealing things that could seriously harm someone else. Like certain confessions of infidelity might just shift an unbearable burden onto your partner. Requires real thought.
Right, it's not about brutal honesty without considering the impact. Got it. Okay, so moving from that inner work of transparency, the next strategy is about external expression. Dare to talk about your affection.
Actually saying it out loud.
Yes. There's some interesting research mentioned about being selectively elusive.
Selectively elusive. Explain that.
The idea is if someone has a reputation for being maybe a bit discerning, not easily won over,
Okay.
but then they become warm and open specifically for you, that combination. The book calls it dynamite. It shows you're special to them.
So it's about showing preference, clearly. Makes sense.
But often we just don't say it. There's that heartbreaking story of the father.
Oh, the one who praised his son at the factory.
Yeah. Bragged about him to everyone except the son himself. The son only found out years after his dad died.
Tragic. Such a needless misunderstanding.
Completely avoidable if he'd just said it directly.
No.
Marian Evans, George Eliot, she nailed it. I like not only to be loved, but also to be told that I am loved. It's a basic need.
We need to hear it.
We do. It reminds me of Ben Franklin's advice. Simple but profound. Speak ill of no man, but speak all the good you know of everybody.
Focusing on the positive, expressing it.
Exactly. Which leads perfectly into the next point, shifting from words to deeds. Learn the gestures of love.
Actions speak louder.
Pretty much. Frederick Speakman's book title says it all. Love is something you do. Friendships aren't just built on grand declarations, but like a fine lacquer finish, layer by layer, through small acts of kindness.
And the examples are so telling, aren't they? Einstein reading Plato to his sister in a coma.
Just being present, showing care through that act.
Or the husband driving miles just to take his wife to her favorite lunch spot, unprompted.
Or remembering someone loves watercress and having it ready. Tiny things.
Even putting toothpaste on your spouse's brush. It seems trivial, but it says, I'm thinking of you, I don't take you for granted.
It's about having an educated heart, as the book calls it. Paying back gratitude in small, steady ways.
Accumulating those positive memories.
These minuscule acts build richness over time.
And the impact can ripple outwards. Norman Lobson's remembering his father caring for his sick mother, that memory sustained him.
A quiet string.
Or Birch Foracker, the phone executive, crawling into manholes to check on his workers. Not for show, just genuine care.
It becomes second nature. Like Samuel Johnson said, life happens in those little incidents.
That's where the real fabric of connection is woven.
Okay, this next one targets something that can really poison relationships. Create space. Avoid the tendency to control.
Ah, the control trap. Often disguised as love, right? I'm doing this for your own good.
Exactly that. But it suffocates connection, the core message. The lover lets the beloved be free.
Freedom is key. Think about Anne Sullivan and Helen Keller. Helen's breakthrough came when she had the freedom to explore, to grasp water herself.
It wasn't forced on her.
No. And compare that to, say, pop psychology about intimidation. Maybe you win an argument, but you lose the friend. It leads to loneliness.
So we need to ask ourselves, am I a manipulator? Even subtly. The book points out two types. First, the take charge manipulator. Always needs to be smarter, stronger.
Driven by insecurity, often.
Do you always pick the restaurant? Do you enjoy correcting people's facts? Use humor to put friends down? Those could be signs.
Good friendships don't need that power imbalance. There's give and take. C.S. Lewis is a great example, famous but still valued his old friends' views equally.
Mutuality.
Then there's the other side. The helpless manipulator fosters dependence.
Like the example of the mother who maybe enjoys her daughter's minor crises a bit too much, rushing in to help.
Right. It keeps the daughter reliant, stifles her growth, creates an unhealthy bond.
Contrast that with the Reader's Digest founders, the Wallaces, built an empire together but supported each other's individual freedom and efforts along the way.
That's the healthy balance. Support without smothering.
Which really underscores the need for tolerance and acceptance. I love that D.L. Moody quote, "People become what you encourage them to be, not what you nag them to be."
Encouragement, not nagging. And that Sue rule. Don't judge until you've walked 2 weeks in their moccasins. Deep empathy.
Goethe said something similar about becoming more tolerant with age, seeing how you could have made the same mistakes.
In Tournier, again, just accepting people. Dr. Thomas Gordon's door openers are practical tools for this. Tell me more, that sounds important to you. They invite sharing without judgment.
It's about affirming uniqueness, like Robert Manry sailing that tiny boat, Tinkerbell, across the Atlantic.
He was seen as boring until he followed that unique, crazy dream.
And became a hero because he embraced his passion. We need to encourage that in others.
Absolutely.
This idea of space also means respecting privacy, even in close relationships.
Yes, intimacy doesn't mean zero boundaries.
Dr. Hatter's artist friends intensely private, sees them rarely, yet feels deeply intimate with them.
Quality over quantity of interaction.
Or Bill's mother letting her young son have his quiet time upstairs, his own universe, respecting that boundary. It validates their autonomy.
Rilke's line about marriage is perfect here. Loving the distance between them, which makes it possible for each to see the other whole against a wide sky. Beautiful.
So profound. And this challenges norms, like married couples having to dish old friends or only socialize as a foursome.
Right. The odds of 4 people clicking perfectly are slim. Forcing it creates friction. It's okay to have individual connections.
Relationships need elasticity, room to grow and change, like the older sister needing to treat her grown-up younger sister as an equal.
That requires conscious adjustment. Charlie Shedd's Promises to Peter talks about growing self-government for kids gradually letting go.
Contrasting that with the damage done by controlling parenting, it's about fostering independence within connection.
A delicate but vital balance.
Okay, let's shift into some more hands-on practical guidelines for building that intimacy. First one is pretty direct. Use your body to demonstrate warmth. Please touch.
The power of physical connection.
Yeah, like that young medical student who simply kissed each child goodnight in the hospital ward. Made a huge difference.
Actually, Montague's work really highlights this. The skin is our biggest sense organ. Touch is crucial for development.
Kids need that contact.
Absolutely. Lack of it can lead to irritability, hyperactivity. More contact is linked to earlier walking, talking, even higher IQs.
It's fundamental, like Howard Maxwell's daughter wanting him to read the story, not just a recording. She craved the physical closeness.
The presence, the warmth.
And the source points to Jesus again, consistently touching people, even lepers, healing through touch, blessing children with physical contact.
It's a primal form of communication.
Yeah.
And it's not just about sex and romantic relationship.
Right. The book says use the remaining 95% of the body. A hug, a hand on the shoulder. It communicates so much.
Warmth, acceptance, care. Things words sometimes miss.
Okay, next guideline. Be liberal with praise. The art of affirmation.
Giving positive feedback.
Remember that second grade classroom study? Praising kids for sitting worked way better than yelling, "Sit down."
Positive reinforcement. Makes sense.
It connects right to Dale Carnegie. Be hearty in your approbation and lavish in your praise.
And Charles Schwab, million-dollar earner back then, said his success wasn't just technical skill, but his ability to lead through appreciation. He made people feel valued.
Some might say, oh, that's manipulative.
But the book pushes back on that, right?
Yeah, arguing it's not manipulation to genuinely make someone feel good, feel seen. Carnegie's own story about complimenting the postal clerk's hair.
And how it transformed the interaction, a small act of noticing.
Exactly. And the cumulative effect, especially on kids' self-confidence, is huge. Dr. Paul Roberts said regular acceptance builds resilience.
It wires the brain for positive self-image. William James called that craving to be appreciated the deepest human need.
If you satisfy that, Carnegie said, you hold people in the palm of your hand. Powerful stuff.
It really is.
The Bruce Larson story really brings this to life for me. Remember that one?
Remind me.
He's flying early, exhausted, totally blocked creatively for a conference. Flight attendant comes by, randomly compliments his aftershave, English leather, makes a cheerful fuss.
Okay.
And that small, unexpected bit of warmth and affirmation, it completely flipped his mood. He felt good. Ideas started flowing, filled his notebook.
Just from that small comment?
Yeah, he called it a small key that got him back into the stream. Just a little genuine praise unlocked everything.
Wow. That shows the real power of affirmation.
Right.
Like Pablo Casals said, as long as one can admire and love, then one is young forever.
Beautiful. Okay, next practical point addresses a modern epidemic. Schedule leisurely breaks for conversation.
Making dedicated time to just talk.
Ann Landers shared that letter from the wife whose husband just sat there with the TV or newspaper every night. No talking.
That sounds incredibly lonely.
And the statistic is shocking. The average couple talks only 17 minutes a week.
17.
Right.
That's barely anything.
Right. Jermaine Greer said loneliness is cruelest when you feel it right next to someone who's stopped communicating.
So how important is conversation, really?
Well, the book tells a story of a woman having an affair.
Okay.
And the main draw wasn't sex. It was that she and her lover could just talk for hours on end, share everything.
Conversation as the essential ingredient for intimacy. That makes sense.
And it's not just for couples. Think about kids. Charlie sheds monthly dinner dates with each child, even teenagers.
Making that one-on-one time.
Yeah, it echoes Francis Xavier. If it is a child that comes, awaken me. Prioritizing that connection.
Deliberate time is key.
Which leads right into the next one. Learn to listen.
The other half of conversation. Maybe the more important half.
Paul Tillich called it the first duty of love. I love the story of the woman who hated parties.
What did she do?
She decided to just listen with affection, to really try and see the soul the person was showing her, and it transformed her experience. People opened up.
Listening is an act of love. Voltaire said, the road to the heart is the ear.
And Carl Rogers saw patients' eyes well up when they felt truly heard for the first time, that relief of being understood.
So what makes a good listener, according to the source?
Okay, first, listen with your eyes. Eye contact. Shows you're engaged. Your body language matters.
Being present.
Second, dispense advice sparingly. Sometimes people just need to talk it out, like Lincoln with his friend Sweat before the Emancipation Proclamation.
Lincoln just talked for hours, didn't ask Sweat's opinion.
Exactly. Just needed a sympathetic ear.
Sometimes listening is the help.
And third, absolutely crucial, keep confidences. If you're a leaky repository, trust evaporates instantly.
The way to be a confidant is, don't advertise it.
Let no one know you're a confidant to others. Build that reputation for discretion.
And when someone trusts you with vulnerability, meeting that trust with gratitude actually deepens the bond even more. It's a virtuous cycle.
Okay, number 9 encourages emotional honesty. Talk freely about your feelings.
Getting beyond just facts and opinions.
Right. The book says those who can't weep can't laugh either. Facts run out, but feelings. Endless material for connection.
It's the difference between we had sandwiches and I felt jealous after lunch because the boss likes Tom's ideas. Much richer.
And studies show newlyweds share feelings more than long-married couples who can slip into just functional talk.
Sad, isn't it? Losing that emotional channel.
Often it's that I must always be strong syndrome, wearing masks because of old hurts.
Like the woman nicknamed Bush as a child, struggling to open up later.
Or the guy upset about the menage a trois but felt he should handle it, so he stuffed it down. Suffering in silence doesn't work.
No, it just festers. And crying isn't weakness.
Mm.
Jesus wept. Lincoln wept.
Dr. Kinney linked higher male alcoholism partly to men being told not to cry. Tears are a safety valve.
And sometimes vulnerability speaks louder than words. Agnes Turnbull's husband weeping when she got her degree, that meant everything.
What about unspoken stuff, like passive hostility?
Ah, yes. The boutique example Monica annoyed Janet was late, but didn't say anything.
So it came out as clipped replies, bad vibes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Poisoning the atmosphere instead of clearing the air.
And that can lead to disproportionate anger, right? Keith Miller throwing toast because of unrelated frustrations.
Yes. Healthy relationships need space for negative feelings, too. Even anger can be positive if it leads to change. Think Martin Luther.
But, and this is key, if you dish it out, you have to take it. Let friends be grumpy sometimes without judgment.
Yeah, allow for moods. Remember, emotions pass. You can love someone and be angry simultaneously.
Charlie Shedd's wife's note after a fight showed that love alongside the lingering anger.
And James Thurber's loud argument with his editor, Ross, ended up deepening their friendship once they laughed about it. Relationships need that resilience.
Okay, so disagreements happen. How do we handle them without destroying things? That brings us to fighting clean.
Essential skills. The source gives 6 techniques. Let's see. 1, talk about your feelings, not your friend's faults. So instead of "you're lazy," try "I feel upset when," own your reaction.
Less accusatory, more likely to be heard. Makes sense.
2, choose your time and place. Don't ambush someone when they're stressed or exhausted. Find a calm moment.
Respect the context. Good one.
3, allow your friend to respond. Don't monologue. Really listen to their side.
Dialogue, not a lecture.
4, avoid chemicals. Alcohol can make things much worse, lead to saying things you regret.
Keep it sober for serious talks.
5, balance criticism with lots of affection. Like the author's friend Mark Svensson, the fierce criticism worked because it was embedded in so much love.
That cushioning effect. Got it. Okay, what's 6? Wait, was that 5?
You know what? The outline I have here lists 5 main ones clearly. Let's stick with those core 5 for clean fighting. They cover the essentials.
Okay, 5 key techniques for fighting clean. Good. Now, what if a friendship is faltering? How do we salvage it?
This is crucial. The book stresses that the best friendships have weathered storms. Don't just junk a relationship at the first sign of trouble.
Your investment is too great, like not scrapping a car for a flat tire.
Exactly. So first step is diagnostic. What actually went wrong? Try to understand the root cause. Laura Huxley's question is brilliant. What do I overlook? Which is obvious to you.
And then really listen to the answer. Humility is key there.
Definitely. And forget that love story nonsense about never having to say you're sorry.
Huh. Right. That doesn't work in real life. Apologizing matters. A lot.
And sometimes we need to look at our own history. Our past hurts or old, unhelpful ways of relating, sabotaging current connections.
Like the person who only got attention when sick, repeating that pattern.
Precisely. Recognizing those patterns is the first step to changing them.
Which leads us naturally to creative forgiveness.
The author really believes in reconciliation. Says most broken relationships stay that way due to a lack of patience.
Patience and willingness.
Yeah. The story of Punky, the girl abandoned by her mother but chose not to be bitter. So powerful.
She chose to pass on sunlight, not the blow she received.
It's a model for moving forward without letting resentment poison you. Having the same tolerance for others' mistakes as we have for our own.
Because we judge others by actions, ourselves by intentions, right?
So true. Jesus saw people for what they were trying to become. Seeing potential, not just the flaw.
And that story about the man praying for his difficult foreman.
And realizing he was the one changing first. Prayer, or just shifting your own perspective, can unlock forgiveness.
Okay, shifting gears slightly. What holds it all together? Loyalty, the essential ingredient.
The bedrock. The author talks about his dad and his friend Hubert. 65 years.
Wow.
Built on those hidden sinews of loyalty. Didn't always see each other often, but the commitment was unwavering. Simple things, like Hubert sending oranges every year.
That consistent thread. It counters the idea of chronic failures who bail on relationships easily, always blaming the other person.
You need stick-to-itiveness.
Yeah.
Like Harry Emerson Fosdick, recovering from a breakdown because his fiancée and parents didn't walk out when he was at his worst.
Loyalty when it's hardest, that's profound.
And true loyalty understands reciprocity isn't always 50-50 at every moment.
Like Glenn and George, the fishing buddies.
Yeah, George was patient when Glenn's new job took all his time. He didn't demand equal effort right then. He understood the phase. Their friendship endured.
It comes back to that idea. Happiness isn't found by chasing being happy.
It comes from giving, from investing in others. Jesus went about doing good, that model of self-giving.
What about when relationships do end, like divorce? People blame themselves so much.
It's devastating. But the source urges. Don't withdraw. Lean on remaining friends, family. You need that support to regain the courage to love again.
It connects to handling rejection generally, doesn't it? Like the best salespeople aren't just smart, they endure rejection and keep going.
Babe Ruth, remembered for 714 homers, not the 1,330 strikeouts.
His secret, I just keep going up there and swinging at him.
Same advice for relationships. Keep trying, keep swinging.
Love it. Okay, final section connects self-understanding to connection. Why subservience is always dangerous, and self-worth, a requirement for intimacy.
Right, forget the fantasy of the person who exists only to please someone else.
That geisha-type fantasy.
Yeah. When pleasure comes at the cost of someone's autonomy, eros becomes manipulation.
And that reinterpretation of love your neighbor as yourself.
It implies you must have high self-regard first. You can't pour from an empty cup. Self-love isn't selfish. It's necessary for loving others well.
Samuel Johnson. Friendship is seldom lasting but between equals. You need both identity and intimacy developing together.
Can't know yourself in isolation? Can't love well if you're full of self-loathing? Our inner world shapes our outer connections.
It makes me think of the contrast between Freud's view of the unconscious, a septic tank, and Jung's.
Much more hopeful view. A rich world of creativity, myth, even spirituality.
So therapy isn't just about fixing flaws, but about finding the courage within to connect authentically.
Staring down the skeletons to gain strength, not just banish them.
And it's not just the dark stuff. Understanding your wants and desires is key too.
That 20 things I like to do exercise is revealing. People struggle to list things.
Shows how out of touch we can be with our own spontaneous selves. Knowing what you genuinely like helps you negotiate in relationships.
And sometimes you need to adjust the balance. Like Joan confronting her friend Meredith about the constant complaining.
That took courage, but it was necessary for the friendship's health. A loving confrontation.
Exactly. It leads to the ideal, maybe, like Tony and Douglas.
So,
amazing happiness because they understood each other, communicated needs, listened, compromised.
and genuinely threw themselves into meeting each other's needs. Mutual effort.
But the final warning is crucial. Self-regard is vital, but pure selfishness kills relationships, losing that keen watchfulness, that active care for the other.
It's a balance.
Always.
So, wrapping this all up, the big takeaway feels incredibly hopeful. You can be lovable.
Yes. Despite past hurts or flaws.
No one is permanently disabled for connection. The author saw his clients thrive later, often because they found just one or two people to love and be loved by.
It underscores that love comes not to those who are merely good-looking or talented. Love is something you do. It's action.
Active love. Like that sanitarium in 1925, just creating a caring atmosphere, telling nurses to value patience, led to healing.
Or Viktor Frankl in the camps, realizing salvation is through love and in love, even in the darkest places.
It's the most powerful energy we have.
Teilhard de Chardin's vision captures it beautifully. Someday, after mastering winds and waves, we'll harness the energies of love.
And discover fire for the second time.
A profound thought. And ultimately, 1 Corinthians 13, love never ends.
So, for you listening, this deep dive hopefully shows that deep connection isn't out of reach, it's here now. The question is, what new small gesture, what moment of transparency, what act of forgiveness will you choose today to start harnessing that energy of love in your own life?